That first matchup, though, let's have a look at this. Dreadnoughts versus Splatalyst. I don't know, both teams put out a really good show today, and it's been scary how it's going to go. In terms of the way that the maps and stages are going to look, modes, Port Mackerel tower control to start with, then Rainmaker and Kelp Dome.
Then going on, we have, for our third game, Clam Blitz, Starfish, Mainstage. And if there is, luckily, I mean, if we do get to there, we also got some Splat Zones, Arrow on a Mall, and Tower Control, Sturgeon Shipyard for our fifth and final game.
I've noticed, I kind of like this setup, and it's kind of a thing that we've been doing for a lot today, actually, is that when it comes to these first 3 games, we do have Clam Blitz and Rainmaker as 2 of these 3 in all in like a lot of these games that we're seeing. It's a very, very popular mode to throw out. Yeah. Rather than having both tower control and splat zones. So just an interesting thing to note. Clam Blitz has been that game that's been, I think the Clam Blitz has been thrown in because it's that slower paced game. It hasn't been the game that's brought like the closest games together, but it has been that game to really like be the kind of the testing ground, I guess, for teams to really kind of understand how their opponents are playing and what they can get out of them.
Yeah, I mean, Clam Blitz is a really, really interesting mode. It definitely, it can be slightly slower paced where you kind of play, it's kind of like Splat Zones in a way, where, you know, you're just kind of, you know, picking up clams, making sure the entire area is inked and stuff like that. Yeah. And, you know, usually you want to make sure that you are making some coordinated pushes as well. But we are going into our first game.
This is it, our first semi-final, Dreadnoughts versus Splatalyst, and it is, as we said, going to be tower control on Port Mackerel. This long stage really favors the usage of these, if not charges, either a splatling or definitely having the Stingray at some point on tower control is going to be happening.
Yeah, as you can see from both teams, we got Dreadnoughts pulling out as heavy splatling in its 52 deco. Both do have Stingray, and also with Splatalyst, we also have a Squeezer and a Sloshing Machine that also have Stingray. So both of the teams do definitely know what they're doing.
Nice one for one there from Muzu and Cyber, I believe. Oh, yeah, Muzu, sorry, and Redvez there. So it's underway. Points on both sides to begin with, but it looks like Splatalyst have the early lead right now.
Yeah, seems like they're trying to make a push, but unfortunately Dreadnoughts start to, you know, backfire, and they're starting to control the tail right here. Now, it's just looks like they're going really strong. They got their specials ready. Red getting a nice splat.
That was a very nice splat from Red on Tekerai there, just getting over the top, but that AoE just landing. There's a 1v1 for Red, where he wins that one again as well against Ludik.
I do really like what Dreadnoughts just did there, because Splatalyst just had used the Stingray just for the defense, but Dreadnoughts actually countered Stingray and basically took out the defending Stingray. So Dreadnoughts are now able to push and get a few more points.
Okay, so Tekerai gets onto the tower there just to try and push it back a little bit, but Dreadnoughts being very adamant that they want this win, opening up that first game.
Stingray coming in, but there's no one on the tower, so the tower's going to move back. But Kitsune takes control of the tower and getting a couple splats. Maybe. Again, nice assist.
Having a splatling on that height is very good, but Muzu getting a nice triple.
Nice.
Coming around the corner, very nice from Muzu there, saving their team.
Good defense from Muzi here. Going to be able to take back control of their side here while the Dreadnought starts spawning in.
And you can see that Inkjet just ready. Okay, fires it out now, uses it quite far back and pushes forward. Can they get the splats they need?
Yeah, maybe a little too early with that. I think what Muzi might have wanted to do is just push up a little bit more and then use the Inkjet once they actually saw somebody, because usually when you use an Inkjet like that, and you can't really know that you can confirm a splat, it's a little bit harder to actually secure something. And Dreadnoughts are punishing that right now as they take back control of the tower.
And I feel there's like a little bit too much respect on the side of Splatalyst on Dreadnoughts. You know, like knowing that, you know, you can punish a returning Inkjet to that start point, starting it so far back to be safe. Maybe you're just allowing too much of Dreadnoughts to get in.
Yeah, for sure. Like the best type of play that you want to do in Splatoon is go for that disrespect. You know, make sure you push up. Then just get right into their face, because not a lot of people really expect that, because, you know, sometimes I guess people expect the patient play where you're kind of waiting for someone to push up to you so you basically play their game.
Yeah, patience isn't always a virtue in this game. These are very short, sharp, and you know, swift matches, so you have to be proactive all the time.
Splatalyst doing some really good defense here, taking out all of Dreadnoughts here, and going to try and restart this push. Let's see if they can actually do it. So Muzu gets one splat straight away and has the inkjet ready, and now is going to be using it onto the Dreadnoughts right here.
Yeah, it did go down early though. I mean, it's nice that Splatalyst do have two specials on their side. Cyber, as we're seeing right now, gets a splat onto Redwez too, in fact.
Going for a double.
Very nice double there from Cyber.
Now, he does have this Stingray ready. He might want to be using this to assist the push right here. And it does seem that he's actually backing up while Takurai sits on the tower. But, okay, instead they're doing a little bit of a switcheroo here.
And interesting, they have the splash wall up on the top there. Cyber still being strong. The Muzu supporting with the inkjet, needing to support to the left-hand side. While Cyber pushes forward, it's only 5 points in it.
Almost.
Oh my word, it's stopping right there. 2 points to go.
They don't have any players. They only have 2 up, and Splatalyst are actually forced to move back here. They're going to be looking like they're going to be resetting a push here, as they do still have quite a bit of control, and Dreadnoughts are still trying to defend the back. Inkjet popped early, and Muzu taken out, unfortunately.
One for one is okay, I guess. It's better than losing that trade.
For sure. The baggage here getting taken out by Muzu. Muzu coming around from the right side. Now, this is pretty much it. 20 seconds left. Muzu's got to get this splat. The heavy splatling, it's almost...
A little bit wayward with those shots, firing far to the left there, not being able to readjust their aim.
It's all up to Ludic. If Ludic can actually get his people in, unfortunately...
He's coming in very hard right now.
Looks like it's over.
Dreadnoughts taking that first game, very back and forth, and it was very close at the end, but Dreadnoughts do take that first game. Splatalyst can't be upset with that though, because that was really close. Like you'd think when at the start it's 82 to 19, and you're thinking this is a huge deficit. How are they going to bring it back? Then Splatalyst have a play like that brings it all the way back to 21-19. You can see that there's life in both teams here. Yeah,
for sure. Like definitely when you, I guess get pushed back that far, I guess in the start of a game, and then you start getting your bearings together and then start pushing back. Even though it wasn't the result you wanted and you pushed it back to 20, at least that tells you that, hey, it's possible. We can actually push this back.
Yeah.
We have the fundamentals. We know how to coordinate and stuff, and
of course
we're capable of pushing back and winning this game.
Yeah, there's a lot to take away from that. It may be a loss, but they can't be upset with that, and they can't let that rock their mentality. It wasn't like they got stomped completely. They still showed up. And that doesn't mean that game didn't, in that turn, go in their favor. It doesn't matter who goes first or second with the points, and it was that close. So, slightly different scenario. Would they have been able to push through? I don't know, but, that's a good game from them, and they have to take that through when they play in this Rainmaker game, because Kelp Dome Rainmaker...
Kelp Dome Rainmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting one. We're definitely going to see another Stingray, because this is actually one of those maps that are pretty Stingray heavy, or maybe not. Maybe you probably won't expect 2 Stingrays, but you're definitely going to expect 1.
Yeah.
As the leading team, they go all the way to the right side. They start Stingraying down through the door into the spawn.
It's one of those things that I think Rainmaker is a really interesting mode for this map, because this map is one of those really, really awkward ones. If you're looking at something like Clan Blitz, trying to break through that choke point is so difficult at times. But I think there is these I think you have more windows of opportunity in something like Rainmaker, where you can suddenly just turn the tide from small tiny players here and there, and then that momentum just kind of snowballs when you have the Rainmaker in your possession, I guess. It's just about getting to that corner and then just making that final push. But we'll have to see if they can do it, obviously. That's the big question here. But we are ready, so we're going to be getting into our second game of this first semi-final. Will Dreadnoughts make it a 2-0 and force the reverse sweep from Splatalyst? Or force the necessity for a reverse sweep, rather. Or will it go 1-1?
Oh. 1-1 would be nice. I'd like to see 1-1.
1-1 would be wicked. Okay, so breaking into that central bit, just...
Yeah, very, very important to make sure that you are the very first team to pop the Rainmaker, because you get tons of map control and a 3 special out of it. And it looks like Splatalyst going for the early push. Fortunately, that's a really good push to make I guess if you're extremely fast with that, and if the other enemy team doesn't actually realize that you're taking the Rainmaker there, because it's kind of awkward to actually stop it. But Kitsune did a really good job.
Yeah, this is the important bit here. This is where it counts. Nice, a nice splat there from Kitsune, but gets taken down by the auto bomb.
Ludic sitting around the door, just waiting for Dreadnoughts to actually get this hop, but it looks like they've been called for. I guess they've been taken out right now because Baggage actually took one out, and it's just a matter of them. I don't really like the Rainmaker being in that spot, but I guess with the setup with the enemy team, seems like they're actually they feel safe to actually need the Rainmaker.
I guess they're also just kind of leaving it long enough, maybe just try and see if it can, if they can just get it to reset maybe, but there's enough pressure going on to the Rainmaker that it's unlikely at this point. Redwares and Baggage grabbing it, or like nearby at least, kind of hold a little bit of
nice one.
Pressure.
Stingray taking the Baggage out right there. Now, I really want these people to, or this team to actually move the Rainmaker out, because as you can see, Kitsune's actually getting some jumps in, and actually, you know, Dreadnoughts are actually going to take this back.
Double splat, that's huge though! That was the last bastion. Look at where the rest of the team are.
They're probably going to win the game off that.
That is a massive, massive turnaround. Oh man, Splatalyst, very unfortunate there. That double splat B, well, I mean, the shield break was so huge that it got both of them. And that was, I don't know what the other, I think it was CJ on the far side.
Yeah.
Really far away from that defensive line.
I think it was kind of unfortunate that they got splatted after the Rainmaker pop, but it's usually good to move it out from that certain area, mainly because you do get a lot of, I mean, the enemy team that's actually pushing into, I guess, your spawn, if you're looking at this perspective of if we're the one losing.
Yeah.
It's really awkward because once you get a Stingray going down through the door or any sort of special, it's very, very hard to stop. So it's a good thing to move it out of that area just to make sure that you are safe, and then maybe bring it around and find another entrance to go and rebound.
Yeah. So much potential, but, you know, as we saw there, it was just a case of one unfortunate moment, and, you know, the teams, you know, at that point just in the wrong position, and you could just see how quickly it can turn. That's the volatility of Rainmaker, and now that's a 2-0 for Dreadnoughts, and they are on match point already. Splatalyst, you know, after that tight first game, there was this kind of like back and forth at the start, and then it just completely imploded upon them. You know, what do they need to do, you reckon, to kind of bring this back? Clan Blitz on Starfish Mainstage? I mean...
Clan Blitz on Starfish Mainstage, well...
I think the mode's good for them, I feel.
Yeah, I think the mode's pretty good. Like, it's a little bit, you know, you can kind of take your time with it. Just kind of look for some picks before you actually make decisions on pushing. So you can kind of just analyze what's happening in front of you before you actually make a move. So I guess with this map, it's a little bit different now, considering, I guess, from the latest patch, because Starfish has completely had a complete makeover now.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of just don't wait too long. Just try to make your decisions now, or make it fast enough that everyone knows what they're wanting to do, and just play well, really.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, going in. Is that an Explosion I see? I like the Explosion. Explosion is one of those backline weapons, or I guess newer backline weapons where people are starting to, I guess, pick up more. One of those backline weapons that doesn't, it gets bubbled very, very fast. So the bubble blower gets very, very fast, and it inks, of course, it inks a huge bunch as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue right now for Splatalyst is going to be Baggage at the back. Just taking that sniper position. A lot of firepower at the very, very back of that stage. It's hard to get to, but it's so dangerous to be in front of.
Got Kitsune. Fortunately gets taken up by the Splat Bomb with by Cyber's sloshing machine here.
Goes around the backside.
Around.
Trying to get a flank if he can. Goes for the splashdown. Doesn't get anything from it. Does get the splat there on CJ.
Can he get the double?
This is important if he does.
Okay.
Always a trade. 2 for 1 is good, but does drop those clams. I don't think any of his teammates are there to capitalize on that, unfortunately, but Muzu and Ludic, can they push up together now?
At least they're taking a little bit of control back. Ludic and Muzu are doing a really good job of just trying to get some control. It looks like they're trying to actually get some times before and make a push, but the lucky Splat Bomb by Redware.
Also a very, very nice position and usage of the, can't remember the name of the word now, it's lost me. But yeah, the tracking thing where it tells you where you are. What's it called? I can't remember.
Crosser?
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
A very just nice position that managed to catch all the teams, so they knew exactly where they were moving left and right.
Now does the jump here, but unfortunately doesn't really get the ball off at first, but Splatalyst do a really, really good job of getting, well, I guess defending that, but unfortunately Redware was actually there just to put the ball in.
So the first blood goes to, or first ink goes to Dreadnoughts. 20 points down with just the power clam and nothing else to show for it, but that is still a lead. A lead is a lead, as they say. What can Splatalyst make of this? They're going together as a team, taking a variety of movement options here up to the top. Coming in from behind, grabs a couple of clams if they can. Cyber going to cover that other side and that flank.
Yeah, I feel like what they need to be doing is just they just need to be taking a little bit better of, I guess, their position needs to be a little bit better, because the Explosion is kind of in an awkward place where I guess the Dreadnoughts can kind of really just take advantage of them. Cyber actually doing pretty well. Yep,
they get it's another splat. Only currently, I think, is that 3 clams on them right now? Not many, but they're getting towards the opponent's base. If Tekerai can get that power clam towards his teammates, maybe throw for like a joint alley-oop, but...
Yeah, he's the only one here. He probably should have backed up, because I guess when you're in a 4 versus 1 situation right there, it's very, very unlucky that you may take all 4 of them out, especially with an Explosion.
That suction bomb was there, but not... Baggage saw it just early enough. Sorry, go ahead.
It's all good, it's all good. Baggage doing a really good job here, getting the baller out, just maintaining control of the middle. Maintaining control of the mirror on this map is very, very important, mainly because you can, of course, see everything. You can kind of make your decisions of what you want to do. The Splatalyst actually kind of forced to back or jump out here, but managing to somehow take out 2. CJ here with the 52 gal has his ball already, but, you know, Dreadnoughts are doing a really, really good job. They're just kind of backing up when they notice that, okay, we can't exactly control the middle, so...
Let them come to us, although Ludwig gets behind the lines and managed to get one in. Can Splatalyst follow up with any clams? Look at Muzu going in, gets taken down.
Unfortunate for Splatalyst here.
They won't get the lead because of that, because they were second to get that, so it's 81. 1 point in the lead now for Dreadnoughts. That was so good for Splatalyst, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. Basically giving a free clamp to the Dreadnoughts here. Now it's just a matter of the Dreadnoughts trying to maintain mid and just making sure they can get some picks. Now, if they really want to, they can get some clams in. I mean, I guess right now they are actually deciding to do that. Getting a jump from Kitsune is going to lob the ball into the basket.
Very nice.
And a couple points in. Baggage with another ball, getting down to 50 points. And now there's only 30 seconds left of the game. And Splatalyst really, really need to come back. They need to take up this power clam and push back and control middle.
It depends on how much time they got, because they got 15 seconds left on the clock, and there's their power clam. Cyber has got everything to play for. It's going to be on him now to get this done. They need a big play. Cyber cannot go down.
Now, unfortunately, the Explosion goes down, and Cyber has gone to sleep. Oh, okay, no, they're deciding, but it looks like that one person from their team was actually trying to get in close enough
to jump to.
Yeah, to jump to. So that's what was happening. But unfortunately, they got taken out, and Dreadnoughts just needs to hold and make sure that the people with the balls are stopped.
If they can. But remember, overtime does run out eventually, and there it is. Splatalyst do not get that power clam in, and Dreadnought, they win. Wow. They win their match 3-0 over Splatalyst. And that means they advance to the finals, and they are one step closer to that qualification for the UK Championships in November. Splatalyst played well, but we do have to say goodbye to them now. They seemed a little bit, down about that match, but it's a loss. They did this close again. Splatalyst have come very, very close many times to that qualification, but unfortunately, it's not to be this time, not to be this year.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody has their time. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win.
Yeah.
Sometimes you win them all, sometimes you lose them all. It's just the way things go.
Yeah. Sometimes you're used to one more than the other, but that is a solid performance from Dreadnoughts, and I think that all kind of hinged on that first game. Like, that was such a close one, and the way they managed to kind of run away with Rainmaker in that second game just kind of put so much pressure on Splatalyst to make something happen in game 3. And a game like Clan Blitz, where it's so hard to get in, but that's the best thing, because it's then hard for them to really get something over on you. So the onus is on you then to really make those plays. But unfortunately, that went more in Dreadnought's favor. That was wonderful usage of the baller, as you said as well, to get close and allow the jumps in, which because you mentioned it as well, like when they got their own power, when Splatalyst got their power clam in and it reset, you just said, gives them a free clam. I've got a baller, cool, straight down the middle line, and that's what it was. Yeah,
it makes things really, really easy. Like, make sure when you are playing Clan Blitz or anything like that, you always want to make sure that you have follow-up clams, because of course, getting a power clam is good, and all as long as that you're able to defend, I guess, the upcoming push from the other team, because that is more likely to happen.
Yeah.
Especially because once they're coming back in and they pick up that power clam, they're going to be building special right after that. So they're going to be straight away be thinking, okay, let's get a push going. It's going to be easier, and we're able to do it fast because we're probably going to get all our specials in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah. So I'll have a few replays from these games and just kind of see a little bit more closely how certain events of that went down. So this was in game 1, and this was this fantastic work, I believe, out of Baggage here. I think I just caught a little bit too late, but it was just the work coming out from Dreadnoughts to kind of keep pushing here. Oh, this is Muzu's triple kill here, triple splat, getting that back just to kind of save their team. As you can see, very important for them to get that 19. That was eventually the score that won, but it was very important for them to get that save. Wonderful double coming out from Cyber as well. Really doing a lot of work here, and that allowed that push. And this push was amazing. Like, you can see it, you can see it here. So immediately the Rainmaker goes down on the side of Baggage, as you see that there. And at this point, this is when Muzu and Tekerai move forward. Cyber goes to the far side here.
Kitsune actually popping or getting some damage on the Rainmaker.
So it was Ludic who came in here, and it was this point here where they moved forward and then tried to move back, but it was too close.
It was the wall. Like, they threw the wall and they thought it was still going to be up to protect them, but then they moved forwards and then they just got splatted right after.
Yeah, and then that was just a straight line, because obviously, as you saw, the rest of the team, Cyber and everyone was just on the wrong side of the map, and that's game. But what we'll do is we'll throw it over to Alicia there, and Alicia's ready with the members of, I believe, Dreadnoughts to have a quick chat about that game. So Alicia, I'll throw it over to you.
Oh God, sorry. We were just having a chat about what these guys were planning to do afterwards, because commiserations. I mean, it's going to be a long drive back to Manchester, right? Have you got a good playlist at least planned?
Yes.
Whoa, any good songs on there in particular?
Probably all Vocaloid.
All angry screamo tracks. Get out.
Entirely Splatoon playlist, probably.
Nice. I like that it's on brand and that we're still carrying on playing Splatoon 2, because guys, what went wrong?
It was just on the day, I think, that they played really well. And I think what they did really well was they played as a really solid team and whatnot. And I think that's in the end of the day what they beat us out there. Just coordination was great and just had us.
It always comes down to coordination, doesn't it? So often when we have these chats with teams that have lost, it's always just something that just doesn't quite cinch it. I mean, is there anything that you watched from their play that you're like, yeah, we'll definitely take that into future games?
I think from watching that game, I think the best thing that they just did was they really, like I say, they had that arrangement of the team, and I don't know, it's just their practice as well, because we've seen them do a lot of League and CODing as a whole group, and we've all been madly busy recently, so we're not on much of that. So I think that's what we need to take away from this most of all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, guys, you may not have won, but we fit all 4 of you into frame. So really, what's the real achievement today? This is pretty impressive stuff. And look, you guys are going to go away. knowing that you got to the final here, the final qualifier. I mean, so what's the next step? Where are we next going to see you?
Hard to know at this point, isn't it?
Next step.
Because I think there's a last chance qualifier at Birmingham.
Yeah,
we're going to be going, aren't we?
We are. We're definitely going, but like the finer details, I suppose. Yeah, we're looking at hotels after this.
This is a larger team. Like it's more than 4 of us. So you see, we've entered as loads of different teams of 4. So we've got to figure out which the 4 next is where we have 2 teams. So that's all going to be discussed tonight, obviously.
Because we were just saying about how Splatalyst is part of quite a big team. You know, how do you guys decide who's playing at these tournaments?
Who's there first?
Oh, really? Is it literally like that?
Pretty much.
You have like a system of just like, go.
Talk about it, see who plays well with who, which team comps work better, and go from there.
Interesting. So there'll be some pretty intense discussions if you guys do want to go for our last-minute qualifier in November. All right, well, guys, I'm going to let you go and take a breather and just say, guys, congratulations. You did amazingly, and we really, really enjoyed watching you play. So thank you so much. Back to you, Bowie.
Thank you very much, Alicia. That was Splatalyst there, who's just ducked out of the tournament. Apologies for saying it was Dreadnoughts. That was on me. You know when you mean something, but you say something completely different to what you mean. Gets me into trouble a lot. But you know, it was up there, but it didn't come out. But yes, that is Splatalyst are going to drop out. They are going to be going to Birmingham, as they said, that last chance qualifier to see how that goes for them. But that is going to happen for them next month. Back to the now, Dreadnoughts waiting in the grand finals for today, and they will be playing the winner of Ducklings and Splat Squids.